Yeah, Drew, you talked this week, everyone was talking about your gunslinger mentality. It looked like, and I mean this in a complimentary way, that you were the ultimate game manager today, and that, you were patient, you took what was there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I can definitely be both. We thought originally that this defense was going to come out and play a lot of man, and we were going to take big shots. They played a lot more zone than we thought, so we setting guys up in zone, get to pick them apart, dink and dunk down the field a little bit. Like, that's in my game too. I'm happy that people can kind of see that a little bit, see that now, and no, I can definitely be a gunslinger, but at the same time, I'll dink and dunk if I have to.
Drew, you found Deshaun a couple times today. What do you like about his smarts, finding those open areas in the middle of the field?
Yeah, the guy is super duper intelligent. I mean, just being able to, have the spatial awareness that he does, it helps us out, especially in our type of offense, a whole lot. I think him being able to sit up in zones, feel when the guy's running with them, break off and separate, I mean, makes my life a lot easier as a quarterback, and he had a fantastic game today.
Drew, a little bit of a different situation today with the 10-point deficit. What was the mentality like, and how big were those two scores to get it even by halftime?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to this week. We definitely weren't all healthy. We were down a little bit, kind of like in this game. We started off down, but, like we did this week, we fought back through the sickness and everybody, not feeling well. We kind of did that in the game today. It's pretty relatable to where, we started off slow, but we finished off strong, kind of like this week and even that game.
Drew, kind of along those lines, how do you feel right now? Are you still a little sick?
Yeah, you can't tell my voice. It's, I feel all right. My throat and chest were a little buggy this week, and headaches, snots, all the whole cold shebang. It was a blast. I loved it. It was so much fun.
You pretty much had a brand new offensive line out there by the second half because of injury, illness. How do you think they held up?
I thought they played their butts off. You look at it, new O-line in there. You don't think we're going to run, but, it requires a very unusual mind to undertake the analysis of the obvious there. And we ended up pounding the ball with those new guys in there, and, shoot, they did an awesome job.
You sought out Phillip at the 2-minute warning. Congratulate him a little bit. Talk about the relationship between the two of you, and one additional, what was that little dance you did there right afterwards?
Okay, part one to that question. Coming in, Phil was the guy that, I wanted to, obviously get on his good side, prove to him that I can play. So I started by messing around with him a little bit in the locker room. And once I got my first opportunity with Phil to prove to him that, I can be his quarterback of his future and help him win a lot of games, I wanted to do that, as much as I'll never tell. I mean, I just told y'all, but I wouldn't necessarily tell Phil that and give him the credit of that. But his support, how much, our relationship means, it's really, really important to me. And then part two of that question, I was practicing the shuffle this week in the locker room, and I went out there and tried to hit it, and it wasn't very good. I was a little disappointed. Oh, no, I nailed it in the locker room. I think I just needed the beat in the background to get to it. So, yeah, but, shoot, I was pretty disappointed in that performance. So,
Drew, what do you think about some of the calls by Rich there, the 4th and 1, and then the play to Deshaun for the touchdown?
Yeah, I mean, that man's not letting back. I think he has a supreme confidence right now in the guys that he's got out there, and, just the vibe of the game at that time. I mean, what is there to hold back? Why hold back? These are our last 2 games. We can't make it to the playoffs. Let's have some momentum going into this offseason, and, if we hold back and, don't go for it on that 4th down, I mean, walk off, you'll get the boos and whatnot, and then we'll look at it like, man, maybe we should have gone for it. And that's not the feeling we wanted to have. We want to say we left everything out there, and we definitely did.
Drew, to your right, do you feel defenses sort of kicking the tires on you as you go week to week, that they add a little more, that they're trying?
Yeah. I mean, Kansas City was a little different than this defense, but, what I've noticed besides that first week, what you'd like to expect, they're going to switch it up on you, and you just got to be a reactor. Quarterback, you can be as prepared as you want and think you know exactly what's about to go down across the field, but until you get out there and you see what's really happening, you got to just react when you get the ball in your hands. It's about in my opinion, I think quarterback's about seeing and just reacting to what they throw at you.
Drew, can you speak to how your defense played to keep you in the game so you could make the comeback?
Yeah, obviously that game with the comeback wouldn't have happened if they wouldn't have stopped them. They had a young quarterback in there as well. Much respect to Mr. Blau. I've played him a couple times in college. He's a great competitor and a great quarterback. But I think our defense ended up getting the best of that offense today, stopping the run really well. I know they brought their running back. There was a lot of hype going into this game about their rushing attack and us being a little light on the defensive line. But those guys played their butt off today.
Drew, the team's 3-1 since you took over. What does that momentum feel like going into next week and specifically going into the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, we could be 0-4, and I would still have the same mentality going into this last one. Bottom line, if you win your last one, people are going to feel good leaving the stadium for the last time. They're going to feel good getting in their cars. Just little things, talking to family out there. They're going to remember that feeling coming into the stadium however many days later and for that first preseason game. So that right now is our number one goal, is to prep for this week, get everybody healthy, and come back and be ready to finish the season out strong one more time.
Hey, Drew, you've experienced a ton in 4 short weeks. Home game, first away game, playing in your hometown for the first time, snow game, come from behind game. Has this felt like a whirlwind to you?
Not necessarily. I would say, I know I said not necessarily, but I think this was a necessary, trip that I'm going on right now. You talk about it. First game, that's a whole different thing in general. Go to your second game, you're on the road in Houston against a really good Houston offense. You're playing a really, really good offense on the road who's got a really good defense as well. That was an experience in itself. And you go back to Kansas City, we learned from that, the snow, whatever, another experience in itself. And then coming back in this game, having to come from behind. When you go back and think about having like a picture-perfect, script for me in these last games, obviously the loss in Kansas City isn't that, but getting me as much experience as possible going into the next year to where I can be the guy and say that I have, certain experiences from this year to take into next year. I think that was big for my development, and I think big for this program too.
Now that we can see your brace loud and clear with all that orange, why do you wear it?
Yeah, it was my junior year at Vanderbilt, almost got rolled up on. It was enough to scare me to where I ended up wearing this brace and haven't stopped since. I mean, I'll run around. I've been running around. I've had the brace on, all year, and, I don't think it's stopped me very much. I think I'm pretty mobile with it. Just a little security blanket in the back of your mind to have.